portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports. News Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
Good evening, and we are on the air. Edwin Lee Raymer at 8 o'clock here on a Sunday night, and I've got a great guest with us tonight. He is running, let's see, this is the 34th district, I believe, for your congressional seat here in the great state of Tennessee. Tucker Markham. Tucker, how are you?
Man, thanks for having me. Good to be with you. Thanks. State representative, state house seat.
State house seat.
The 34th district, downtown Murfreesboro, Casem Lane, St. Andrews, basically everything west of 231, south of 99, all of Christianity.
You know, I've got you here because I wanted to have you on, but I can't vote for you. I couldn't vote for you if I wanted to.
It ain't too late. You know, it ain't too late to close on a house.
No, I've got. Wife and I have a couple. That's all right. Thank you.
Gotta try.
And we're going to talk about his campaign. First time you've ever put your name on a ballot?
Yes, sir.
I admire that in people that do it. I never have and probably never will. We're going to talk about a lot of things. He's going to tell you you're into energy, alternative energy.
Well, I work in energy development, so all kinds. But I've worked on a lot of projects and kind of contract out with different energy companies to work on the project approval and permitting process on various projects, on some natural gas projects and then some other types, and just really enjoy it. Work with really, really smart folks who are light years smarter than me, but provide some good value on getting these projects over the finish line. So enjoy it, and kind of allowed me the freedom to take a look at public service.
Well, you're only as good as the people you work with. So if your competition's pretty tough, that means you eventually will be as well. Anyway, we're glad to have Tucker here. Jackson's on the board. And I'll tell you what, let's get this thing kicked off, Jackson, if we could. But for right now, my name is Edwin Lee Raymer, and yes, I am still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS.
That's a little rock and roll to kick you off on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and this is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. I'm your host, Ed Raymer. Now, this show is produced at the studios of WGNS AM 1450, 100.5, 101.9 FM right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now, you can reach us tonight. Reach Tucker with your questions, your comments, or your thoughts at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. You can also text us shoot us a text at that number, and our producer Jackson will get it, and he'll be glad to read it for you. Hand it to me or Tucker, we'll read it for you. For those of you who do not wish to be maybe a little bit shyer than what we are and don't want to be heard live on the air, and we certainly understand that. Now, watching us, getting us, obviously, when I got here 11 years ago, the radio was how it was done. Things have changed a little bit or a whole lot since then. You can reach us at 1450, 1450, 1450 AM on your radio dial. Or, again, we simulcast on 3 frequencies, 100.5 or 101.9 FM, right here from WGNS. Okay, that's FM. Now, you can also, and we are on the air right now, the Ed Raymer Show is YouTube. We're on YouTube Live. We're on Facebook Live. Just punch in Edwin Lee Raymer at YouTube, and it'll take you right to us. Or News Radio WGNS. That's News Radio WGNS. And I'll tell you what you can do. You can also download the WGNS app and take WGNS with you wherever you go. Listen whenever you wish. And check out our local programming. In addition to us, check out Let's see, Mike Sparks is on at like 5 on Sunday, I believe. Angela Bingham is on right after him. Angela's here at 6. Jason Qualls through the week, financial advice. Everybody doing a great job. And Angela, I got to see her tonight right after her broadcast. It's her birthday. She's 29 again, everybody. So, and me and her both. So, anyway, she's got a nice carrot cake for her birthday. One of the girls baked for her. And I didn't get a piece of it because they didn't have a knife to cut it. So
I can't believe that.
I'm telling you, right? That's rude, isn't it? I'll tell you, that's the way them Democrats are.
I'll come down on my birthday and give you plenty.
Okay. And Tucker, you're here, and let me ask you, Tucker, as far as politics go, I mean, it can be it's the first time you've run for anything. Let me ask you, if I could, Tucker, why do you hate puppies?
I'm sure they'll be seeing some stuff that says that's the case, and some other worse stuff. But
I do that occasionally. I don't guess they warned you. No, he doesn't hate puppies. Everyone. He does not. No. And anyway,
love babies too. Let's make that clear.
Babies too. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Why are you doing this? What? Tell folks what you do and how you got here.
Yeah.
Just what's your story?
Well, I never wanted to run for political office, but at least anytime soon. But saw a real need in this district and in this race. I'm born and raised in Rutherford County. Grew up in the Rockvale area. Or actually, with this district, it's pretty neat. So I was brought home as a baby to Spike Trail, which is in the district over there by the Ag Center. Grew up in Rockvale. Lived in Evergreen Farms, downtown Murfreesboro. But attended Eagleville for a time, Rockvale for a time, and Central Magnet School for a time.
Pettis Reed area out there.
Love me some Pettis.
Pettis is a wonderful fellow.
And he works hard. I think that's what's missing in politics right now. You got a lot of these politicians who, I say at the door, a little fat and happy, right? Who don't know they have to earn it.
He drives the communities. He wants to, not just his area either. He drives, because he is one of the county commissioners, one of 21.
Correct.
21 of them. And he's out and about.
Yeah. Well, and
he don't just show up for the council meetings.
Correct. And answers her phone, and we got a really good set of county commissioners now. Really proud to be endorsed by a number of them. 15 total elected officials endorsements, and I think probably 9, 10, 11 commissioners there, and that's a weight. I think that's been a big sign of the viability of this race and the need in this race to really have some legislators that can work well. With our not only county commissioners, but I've been out to Eagleville City Council meetings and Murfreesboro Council meetings and developing real good relationships with those folks. I think some of the biggest issues we're facing right now that the state could assist on and should be assisting on are really tied to local issues. Really are, and you need a state representative that doesn't like to play into this personality, ego, political nonsense style of politicking and legislating, and really focus on those issues that really matter, that are affecting folks, pocketbooks every single day, and affecting folks' children's going to their school, and all those type of issues. And we're really missing that. We're really missing that, I think, in a lot of areas in politics in general, and I think definitely in this legislative seat, and just working hard at it. I mean, I told someone last week, you'll get a kick out of this, at a door. I said, I'm the only candidate in this race that doesn't think WORK is a radio station.
Right.
You got to go to work every single day, not just during a campaign, but especially when folks are paying you to be working for them as a legislator.
And here's the thing I do know, because I'll say this now. You're doing it pretty well the old-fashioned way. You're shaking hands. You've got signs. A lot of these people think you can just go on Facebook and put a thing or put a notice or two and put a couple of yard signs.
Wish it was that easy.
It's not that easy. President Kennedy, as I told you the other day when we first talked, if a man ever shakes your hand, you probably have his vote. And you've been shaking a whole lot of hands.
I've been trying to. I mean, I'm out working every single day, and like I said, I think we've knocked a little over 6,500 houses already, and been through the district almost 2 times, and going on 2.5 at this point. And just showing up, folks. I say this at the doors all the time. You are the ones paying your elected officials to be working for them. Granted, it's still public service. You ain't getting rich. But the only way, and I mean the only way that what folks want you to prioritize and focus on is by showing up and being present. And it can't just be an election year thing. It can't. And too many politicians, and especially elected officials that we have there now, have developed that mindset and aren't present, don't show up, don't return phone calls, don't return emails. And even if folks disagree, you got to take it. You got to take it. You work for them. You work for them.
They really don't. Mm-hmm. Our phone is ringing. Caller, please keep calling. We'll get it. We're running a little behind here tonight. But you are doing this the old-fashioned way, and that's unheard of. We have a caller. Yes, caller, go ahead, please.
Mr. Raymer, how you doing?
Well, hello. Is this Jeff?
Yeah, yes, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing good.
I just want to tell you, I hope you had a chance to confront or talk to Mr. Rudd. I know I told you before. Edwin Lee knows this too. He was on the radio a few years ago, and he said several times, he said, as long as he's in the legislature, he would never raise taxes. Never raise taxes on the people. He would never do it as long as he's in the legislature. He'll lower them, but he'll never raise them. Is what he.
He would lower them, but never raise them. Okay.
He would.
Okay.
Never. As long as I'm in the legislature, never raise taxes. On people in Tennessee, I'll never do it. I'll never do it. So I don't know. I know we have a rainy day fund that they'll probably never use. It's about $4 trillion or however much we got in there. It's so much money that I know if we expanded Medicare, our state would be broke. That's what Don White said one time, that we wouldn't have no money left, which is untrue. But I just wanted to ask you what you think some of the major issues in the state are. I know you've been talking to a lot of different people. It's just I think I live in your district. I'm not too far from St. Andrews and that kind of area, so I will be voting for you come August, November, whenever the election is. I'll definitely be casting my vote for you too. I hope you can defeat Mr. Rudd. But it's just some of the other. I just wanted to just what you think some of the main issues are when you do go to Nashville, and I know guns and some of the other stuff is, but I just wanted to ask you what they are, and I'll hang up and listen. Good luck with your campaign, and I'll definitely be following you. I've seen some of your signs around too, so good luck with everything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And
Jeff Neal, thank you very much, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, and give me a shout if I can ever do anything for you. I mean, I've been to all these doors, and the number one issue is clear. It's this conversation around how we're going to pay for this growth that's coming into Rutherford County.
Sure.
You wouldn't think it's a state issue, and quite honestly, I don't think it should be a state issue. But the way it's set up right now, we have unfunded mandate after unfunded mandate after unfunded mandate that's coming down from Nashville to the locals.
Right.
Yet they do not have the flexibility to look at revenue outside of property taxes. And I've talked to thousands of people at their door who can't afford, don't want another property tax increase. All this
16% a year or two ago was the largest the county's ever had.
Yeah,
the single largest.
Correct. And I think folks understand this. Local government's not state government. Local government's not the federal government. Is there waste? It's government. I'm sure there's something in there. But they are providing the most essential services that folks come to expect.
And you're at a disadvantage at state or local governments because you do not have an advantage the federal government has, and that's the ability to print money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm open to a Fed and the Fed of Rutherford County. But
I'm telling you, yeah, I'd be glad to chair that. Now, I'd be interested in getting in on that. But, I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You have to use what's. How do you feel about the Medicare, Medicaid, the expansion on it? The governor's refused to let those funds go. We have people that are hurting, no doubt. What's your feeling on that? I mean, let's get this out of the way because I know we're going to talk about this impact fee thing, and I'd like to get that out of the way first. Your feelings on that?
Well, I think there has to be a lot of approaches to how we're talking about the affordability crisis when it comes to healthcare. I mean, I think first and foremost is really prioritizing economic development and providing folks with opportunities to advance to those positions and opportunities that provide better benefits and better opportunities, while also sitting there and recognizing that there's always going to be those folks that work at the Dollar General, that work at the gas station, that need that help, and I think there's an area there to compromise on it. The problem with politics today is you have one side way over here, one side way on the other side, and they've lost that. Politics is the art of the possible. What can we accomplish? What can we get done? And that hasn't been the case, and I think in all levels of government and politics, but especially up in the legislature. And I think a lot of what's missing is you have too many, like I said, you have too many personalities and egos in the room, and there's not an interest in first and foremost building a a relationship even outside of it. You know, Ed, we could sit here and talk about political issues for 3 hours, and I'm sure there's going to be something we disagree on.
Sure.
But if you first and foremost have that relationship that you know is filled with some respect and some integrity, when those disagreements pop up, it's not catastrophic to that relationship. And you got folks in the legislature now who don't see it that way, and that's what's preventing a lot of things getting done.
The one
on a lot
thing
of these
that
issues.
bothers me more than anything else, and we'll get to this, and I want to get past it so we can move on to this, because you know we're going to talk about this impact fee thing.
Yes, sir.
That's directly affecting our county and many of our local areas around here. Gun regulation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a private investigator, as you may or may not know. I don't know, and I have been for over 25 years now. It looks like to me, I fully expect. I walked in a gun shop one day. It was way before Christmas, and I went there early intentionally to buy my son. We bought us a Target pistol. It was 22, and I fully expected a background check. Oh no! So you can walk out of here with it here in just a minute. That sort of shocked me, because that fellow at that pawn shop didn't know me from Adam, and this is a brand new weapon. It's perfectly legal for him to sell it. There's no problem with that. And I'd bought several things from this fellow. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm pro Second Amendment, and I think the folks in Christiana, Rockvale, Midland, Rockvale, and Eagleville are pro Second Amendment as well. So I'm going to take those values to the legislature. I think there's a lot of approaches that can be had when we're talking about gun violence and what's happening in the state.
I don't believe we should be selling a gun to a fellow that just walked out of a mental institution.
Correct.
Do you feel he should have some type of background check done on him?
Well, I think there's a lot of that that's already in place. I mean, I think there's a lot of folks that
no, there isn't.
For folks walking out of a mental institution.
No,
okay.
Not that I know. He can
I don't believe.
I know, he can go directly to a gun shop and purchase a gun.
I don't believe that's correct, but I stand to be corrected on that. I stand to be corrected
I will
on
too.
that. Yeah.
I will too.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
But, but I mean, if that is the case, wouldn't you be in favor of some type of check on a person that, I mean, has had a history of mental illness or a history of
Ed,
whatever?
We have that. We have that. There's systems set up in place for that. There are systems set up in place for that. And I think the approach and solution to a lot of these issues and talking about it is looking at the root cause and making sure we're investing in mental health options and treatment. I mean, there's folks in the state and some of these rural counties where there's no options at all. And I think that can go a long way. There hasn't been that approach from a state level when looking at funding. And I think that needs to be a conversation.
Okay. Now, the Medicare and Medicaid expansion, I forget how many billions they're setting on in there. That money is already there. This is for the people of the state of Tennessee. How do you feel about that? And
well, I already answered that, Ed. I think we got when we're talking about health care, there's that approach of making sure that we have folks that have the ability to move themselves up and put themselves in a better position to access private health insurance, right? I think that's first and foremost. But then you also have to look at the conversation around options that are available for, once again, those folks working at the Dollar General, working at the gas station.
Those that are unfortunate. What do we do about that?
Yeah, I think there's two-pronged approach. You're looking at one.
Should the money be released? Should the funds
be
released?
It's not that. So here's the financial side of it. It's not free money. I'm the first one
but
to
it's
say.
already there.
Well, I'm the first one to sit there and say, hey, we need to be getting as much money as humanly possible back from D.C. If you're in the legislature, we need to be sitting there getting as much money back as possible from Nashville into Rutherford County. And I understand that, but it's not free. It's $1. It's a match. It's not fully funded and sitting there. There's a match associated with it, and I think you got to sit there and look and determine what the financial feasibility. I understand that it's been we're one, I think, of only 10 states that hasn't. So that's a conversation that needs to be looked at. You got some of the most red states in the country that have. So it has to be studied. I mean, I think the problem is, like I answered you the first time, is you got folks on one side of the fringe and on the other side of the fringe, and there's not a what is possible here when talking about healthcare solutions. That's the problem.
Oh, I buy that.
Yeah, that's the problem on it. Yes, sir.
We're going to go to our first series of breaks. Tucker Markham's with us. He's running for the congressional seat in the 34th Congressional District here in the great state of Tennessee, and he's doing it the old-fashioned way. He's getting out, putting out signs, and shaking hands. Jackson's on the board. I'm Ed Raymer. Back with you right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we're back. All right. Thank you, Jackson. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you to all of you that are listening via Facebook, via YouTube. I get your information in here. Now, Tucker Markham is our guest tonight. Appreciate him coming up now. We've got to talk about this. And Tucker, this is a topic. And it's I'm not even going to say it's a hot topic. It's something that's got to be talked about, the impact fee thing. Some of the cities have it here in Rutherford County. The county does not. The city does.
Every municipality has the ability.
Okay. But the county does not.
Correct.
And where Williamson and I think Wilson, they do.
And there's a couple other ones out there.
Williamson does, I know.
Williamson and Wilson.
And Wilson. What do you think? What's your thinking? I mean, surely, I know you're bound to.
Once again, it should be a local issue. I mean, the state sends down unfunded mandate after unfunded mandate, yet doesn't have the flexibility and freedom to where they're going to get that revenue to make up that unfunded mandate.
Right.
Where they're going to make up that missing conversation around capital projects for education. And I don't think it should be a state level issue. I think there's instance after instance where you don't want folks telling the federal government, telling the state government what to do. This is an example of the state government telling the local government what to do.
Right.
And my perspective on it is, hey, the folks in Rutherford County want it. The folks in Rutherford County want the county to have the ability to charge a growth or development fee, and that decision should be made locally, and it has been. They elected a county commission that says, "Hey, we don't want y'all."
But they're not allowed to implement it.
Correct. They have to go through the legislature, and one of the large reasons why I ran is Tim has blocked that the last 2 legislative sessions.
Okay.
And you got a lot of powerful lobbyists and special interest and silk suit wearing guys in Nashville that are opposing it.
Got you.
And we haven't been able to. When you got members of your own legislative delegation working against it and fighting against those efforts, I've been told by a legislator here that I consider a friend and mentor that at times it's a heck of a lot easier to press no. And when you have right, but I mean, like, my no,
a lot easier to press no.
I'm going to press no more times than probably any representative that we've had.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of craziness happening and bad policy and policy that's not thought out. But that's an instance where, hey, here's this bill that is one of the proposals that affects Rutherford County, that gives Rutherford County this ability. And my understanding how it's always worked is, hey, when your folks need something or asking for stuff, I have you. And when my folks in Blount County need something that only affects my folks in Blount County, I have you. And we got something has to give. We're approaching crisis level. I think we're already in crisis level with how we're going to pay for $800 million worth of capital projects needed for schools, and that's before you even factor in the infrastructure needs, before you even factor in the fire, EMS,
another
sheriff's
new
deputies.
School system to be put up. Another new high school
correct.
to be built.
Correct. Correct.
You're talking about elementary school, middle school, and a high school, and all the football fields and baseball field, all the amenities that go with that. And you're looking at $100 million.
No, I mean a high school now, and don't quote me on this, but I remember watching a school board meeting. I want to say a high school is $130 to $140 million now.
Really?
Yeah. And I think in Rockvale was the most recent one open, and it was a lot less.
86, 84, 85. Pettis knows because that was
Paul
really
Pettis would know off the top, but
he'll know right off the top. It's around 85 million more or less, but it's just gone up exponentially. I mean, and it's not going to get any cheaper. And then of course the land.
Mm-hmm.
And you need, what do you need for a school complex? Roughly 80 to 100 acres?
Ooh, I couldn't informatively answer that for you.
I don't either.
I know there's different size.
Someone told me, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, and I want to say this too. I told this at a Farm Bureau meeting a couple months ago.
Right.
I'm born and raised in Rutherford County. I'm far from a farmer, but
sure.
You know how ignorant I'd have to be to sit here and pretend like I know these agricultural issues better than the folks who live and breathe it every single day. And I think on a lot of these issues, you got to be able to be humble enough to sit there and say, hey, let's call the folks in our district who live and breathe these issues every single day on what the right policy approach is. And that's definitely missing. On it. So, but no, we're approaching crisis level on education, on the capital project side of education, especially, like you said, in need of a high school on the north side, another elementary school, a middle school, and there's a lot of good conversations happening about some ways to efficiently do these projects. The school system had an idea that they executed when it came to the Beatty property elementary school, where they were able to do that within their fund, most of it within their fund balance. So they've gotten creative, but you have, I think the latest I've heard, you have on the low end 1,200 new students added to Rutherford County school system every single year.
Yeah, it's not stopping now. During the pandemic, maybe those numbers they were jilted back and forth a little bit, but we're right back where we were. Everybody's coming here.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. And we got a great Rutherford County Schools is fantastic. I mean, we have a lot of really good choices within Rutherford County Schools as well. We got great magnet schools. We got Holloway High School. We have open enrollment.
How do you feel
school.
about public money being put into private schools?
Yeah, the bill last year is going to be a heck of a lot different than the bill next year. I fully support public education, fully. Once again, I'm incredibly pro school choice. I'm a product of school choice times 2. But I think Rutherford County has great school choice options.
Many people have come here because of the public school system.
Yeah, exactly. And we have great.
And I don't know why we should tinker with that.
Yeah, well, I think we need some help on keeping it that way and farthering it when it comes to funding. I think the problem is when you look at and TISA overall produce additional revenue for Rutherford County schools, but that's an example, I think, of policy that wasn't completely thought out, and there's some unintended consequences that we've seen, especially it didn't fix the biggest issue I see where we're funded, the county is funded for the previous year's enrollment. So, that's local taxpayers fronting a lot of that money initially. So,
and, not thinking things through. Like we were talking last week, Sean Wright was up here. He's running for city council.
Sean's a good friend.
Yeah, and the county landfill is a perfect example. They just didn't know 30 years ago what was to come. Mm-hmm. They just didn't know. When I moved here in 1980, they announced a few months later, right after my mom and dad bought their house for $46,000 or $47,000, I think, in Smyrna. Nice house, 4-bedroom. And then they announced, here comes Nissan. Now, this is way before your time. and son, we have been on a rocket ride to the moon ever since it. Now we've hit some bumps and humps along the way, but it's not stopping. No. And it's still. And then you had later the addition of Saturn over in Murray County, Columbia, and all that. I mean, and now even down Memphis, Tennessee, West Tennessee, they're starting to get in on the act with the Ford expansion down there, which is
changing
massive.
That community.
It will change it. Yeah. It will do for them exactly, and because I know it's not at Memphis, it's somewhere in between. I don't know. I
think Fayette County, but
Fayette
don't quote me
County,
on that.
I won't.
Don't
Yeah, and I agree. I don't know either, but they're in for some changes that
Well, and that's what we need here locally as well. I see. I don't understand why there can't be some of these legislators and using this position and really assisting any way you can with economic development. I mean, building good relationships with the economic development commission up there and the director there and coordinating relationships. I mean, I talked to some folks out in Eagleville and asked, hey, have you ever heard from the state economic community development folks? And they said no. And I think that's an area where a large part of, I see a large part of this job as being a connector when state government is moving slow or is broken, no matter what issue it comes to. If you're talking about a TDOT issue, a TDEC issue, in that instance, looking at the economic development folks, you really got to prioritize, and I think this is missing, especially in this seat. Really have to prioritize going in there and trying to build good relationships with these folks who in Nashville make government move on the state level, and have those relationships when things come up, and your folks who once again are paying you to be up there working for them might be able to assist when they have those encounters with a slow moving part of government.
Also PPP relationship, public-private relationships with business that does this, and the one I hear more than anything as the host of this thing here is, we're going to have to stop these massive tax incentives to these big corporations that are moving here. Just because they're here, we're glad to have them, and we need them, and we want them. But, when you abate taxes for 10 or 15 years, it's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. And some of them that even will end up working at that establishment still don't. Mm-hmm. Of course, they can't come right out and say it, but but I know it's easier said than done, because it seems like everywhere. But I think the pendulum is always swinging. I think we're seeing nationwide a little more that, hey, we can't afford it anymore. And a lot of cities have gone to that, bigger cities saying, sorry, we just can't afford it. You have people in Nashville that are selling their home because they can't afford to pay their property tax.
Well, you have folks who I've grown up with who are born and raised here and can't afford to stay here, and they're moving to Manchester and Tullahoma.
Oh, Manchester, wonderful area down there.
In Shelbyville, and that's a shame. I mean, it really is. And at that point, I'm a big free market guy, and I really think that's picking winners and losers. That's picking winners and losers. Well, and there's where's the conversation when a small business in Rutherford County owned by Rutherford County folks are trying to expand? That's missing as a part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And expensive as well.
No doubt.
It's the same. Yeah. I mean, right now, I was talking to the wife last night, and of course, a lot of things since this pandemic have finally got back to normal. Okay. You couldn't run fast enough to give me a restaurant right now.
Say that again.
You couldn't run fast enough to give me a restaurant right now. You could give it to me, and I'll turn around and sell it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's one business I just would not. Because our children both worked in it, and when they were younger. No way, man.
Oh, I believe it. My campaign treasurer is Bill Tollett out in Eagleville. He is the vice mayor out there, and then was the principal out there for a long time.
Right.
He opened Coach T's All-American Grill right there on 99. And then recently just sold it probably about 2 or 3 months ago.
Right.
And he opened it up right in the height of COVID and all of that, and went through a lot of those challenges. But that was great for the community. Great for the community out there.
Oh, Eagle's a great area. You went to school there for a while?
I went there for a couple of years. My mom was the bookkeeper out there as well for a number of years, and then actually when Blackman Elementary opened, was the bookkeeper out there as well. at Blackman Elementary. So.
Blackman Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, Coach Tyler's a great guy. My campaign treasurer, and just been a big help with this process, and the folks out in Eagleville. But yeah, really want to focus on these areas. I feel like there's a lot of times where you have you have a legislator who doesn't know where Midland is, doesn't know where the Rockville Community Center is, and show up. I mean, I knocked on a door out in Midland, Fosterville Road, and they said they've lived there for 23 years and have never had a candidate come to their door asking for their vote. And what issues they care about. And I think that's, you got to care. You got to care about those folks. You got to show up. And it can't just be an election year thing. It can't.
Yeah.
You got to be present consistently.
What's wrong with going out in the middle of, a non-election year and saying, hey, just go canvass the community and say, I'm your representative, I'm your county commissioner, whoever. And, the elected representative, I know it's a state job, okay? It's a state office. But really, you are really, truly accountable to local people. Well, you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be to your local constituents to some degree.
No, you're right. And I think, and I was at the steering committee meeting of the Rutherford County Commission, and I guess it was probably January of this year. And you had Tim Rudd, the legislator I'm running against in this race, sit there and tell the legislators, hey, if you have a bill, or the commissioners, hey, if you have a bill idea, if you have something you want to talk about, come see me in my office. Office in Nashville. Mm-hmm. So you want the county commissioner from Christiana to drive an hour and a half through rush hour to get to Nashville, pay $30 to park, walk over to the office, come back to their car, drive another hour and a half back through rush hour to meet with their elected representative. As then they're not even they're obviously a private individual, but also representing, in that case, I think commission districts are about 20,000 people. And that's the case. If you need me, hey, when do you want to go out to Elrod's in Rockville? We'll grab coffee. And I think that's what's missing as well. We don't have, there's been some elected officials in the past where, hey, you knew where they're at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, right? You knew where they're at if you need to go talk to them.
Pettis Reed will be out driving around. I know Pat. He lives it. I think between 7:30 in the morning, Rob Mitchell's in his office. He's our county property assessor. Mm-hmm. I mean, these guys, they are actually working. I mean, it's not. They're certainly not there for the money. I mean, you're not running for this to get rich.
And you have to feel that weight. I really think you have to feel that weight. Folks are paying you to be working for them.
Sure.
And it doesn't take too much more effort to do the job well versus do the job poorly. It's barely a step up in level of effort, and a lot of folks just don't do it. They just don't do it, and it's unfair to those folks. It's unfair to those folks who are more of the.
I will tell you this. I'm going to get Jackson in here. We'll go to our last series of breaks here. I've had people ask, and every week, who you having on Sunday? Who you having on Sunday? I said, well, I'm having a young man at Tucker Markham. He's running, and what's brought all this on? Because you're with one party and I'm with another. And I said, because I want to do what one of our great in recent times, I won't say recent years now, he's no longer with us, the late great state senator federal senator Howard Baker said, you might want to listen to the other guy every once in a while, because he might actually be right. And I've always kept that with me. Senator Baker was a great statesman for the great state of Tennessee. He really was. So that's what this young man is doing here tonight. And he will be welcome back anytime he wants to come up and share something and give me $14 to go on the air. Thank you. Jackson and I need all we can get.
We'll take you over here to Party Foul and buy you some dinner. How about that?
You got that. Hey, that's good food down there. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to our last series of breaks. Tucker Markham is with us. Glad he's here. He's running for Congress in the 34th district down there, and we're going to talk about what areas that encompasses when we come back. Jackson's on the board. I'm Ed Raymer. Back with you right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, a tag number run, or if you need someone full-fledged followed, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Yeah, in live radio, you're going to make mistakes. That'll happen. Okay. Tucker was worried. Was that mic on? He didn't say anything bad.
The worst. It was the worst.
It was the worst.
It was the worst.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, your mama spanked your bottom. Telling dirty jokes. He didn't do that. You wanted to say something over us being on maybe different people being on different, like Senator Baker was talking about. You know, I want to listen to the guy once in a while. He might be right.
Which I love that quote, by the way.
Yeah.
But you got to, once again, I've said this before, but folks are paying you to be working for them. Whether they disagree with you on issues, or if an issue hasn't happened yet, I want to hear these folks' opinions and where they stand on the issues. And even when that time comes where you take a vote that doesn't make 100% of people happy, you know, there's probably a little more votes that don't make 100% of people happy than do.
There's somebody mad on, you know, probably all the time.
I think so.
That happens.
You got to take it. You got to answer your phone. You got to return your email. I can't tell you how many doors I've been to where they say I've reached out to my representative via email 3 times, called him twice, and haven't gotten a response.
I wanted to tell you, you mentioned that a while ago. We've lived, as I told you, we built our house out to 231 South. We're out County Farm Road area, as everyone knows, and been there for 27 years now, I think, something like that. One time, if someone knocked on the door and said, "I'd like your vote," I think one time. I mean, that's a lot of complacency, and my wife and I are active. Well, I am more so being here. My wife we've voted in every election we could since we were 18. Mm-hmm. I mean, we figure that's our job. And sometimes we've both split the ticket, man, you know. But I finally got her. She finally cuddled up to me after 35 years. And
congratulations. Good work. Long game.
No. But, you know, I mean, but that's not good when you got people that aren't, I mean, and I know the districts have been cut up, the gerrymandering and all that, and the Republicans have done that, but the Democrats did the same thing. I mean, when Democrats were in they've all done it, you know. Now you're running all the way from downtown all the way to west of
great. I'll run through it again. Yeah, great district, downtown Murfreesboro. Gets a little of that the behind the Discovery School over along Middle Tennessee Boulevard, and then basically everything west of 231, south of 99. South of downtown Murfreesboro, west of 231, south of 99.
How many people does that encompass? Do you know roughly?
It's about 75,000.
That's a bunch of folks.
Yeah.
How many of them are voters?
Not 75,000. Unfortunately, it should be.
We look at the numbers. As you probably know, WGNS goes up to the polls on election night, and it's we just sit there and shake our head. 8% turnout, 10%, 11%. Hey, we reached 13. That's something else. It's ridiculous.
But that's what allows these folks to be complacent, though.
I know.
In my eyes, I obviously in this race, there's not necessarily enough time or resources to attempt to get folks who traditionally don't vote or who aren't registered vote to go out. But that has to be a place and something you work on as an elected representative of a certain area to try to improve engagement. And I think a part of it that encourages folks to engage is when they have elected officials that they know they can reach, that are accessible, that are present, that are present.
Right.
And at least in this district, that's not the case right now.
Right. And it's like you say, it is, I won't say it's a 24-hour day job, but it takes, when you really apply yourself, it don't hurt to go to a few functions. Go to a country ham breakfast. Go to a chili supper. Go to in your area, or you might want to go other areas. I don't know. Pettis can tell you, he's at all those free meal things.
we make Pettis pay triple. That storm last month.
That's good.
That storm last month. You'll get a kick out of this. When that storm came through last month, I was out at the Rockville Community Center helping clear some trees. They luckily were pretty blessed and didn't have any major damage, just some fence torn up, but a lot of those trees fell down. So it's going to be a hot July 4th at the picnic out there. But I reached out to Kevin Elrod, who owns Elrod's out there, and said, hey, I want to take care of any Middle Tennessee Electric, Highway Department, law enforcement folks who are out working today, to clear these roads and make things right. And some folks came by, and then Pettis texted me saying he just went by and grabbed lunch. And I said, well, dang, I thought I told Kevin that we need to charge you triple, and these other guys ate for free, but we're charging you triple. But Kevin missed out on that memo.
Hey, I'm telling you, Pettis sat right where you are one night and talked about his family. He's got a huge family. I said, that's a lot. That's a lot of kids, a lot of family, great family. He said, that sure comes handy. It comes in handy around election time.
I have some of his kids in my district and have been meeting with them, but we're really blessed with a lot of good, and especially after these past elections, there's a lot of good folks who are doing it for the right reasons, serving, I think, in all areas of local government, state or local and or municipality and county, but a lot of folks who are wanting to do it the right way. One of my best friends, and I think one of the best elected officials we have, is Jonathan Beverly, who represents District 6, which covers a lot of Christiana, most of Christiana actually, right. And he's held numerous town halls, where, hey, if you're mad about something, if you want to share a thought, a view, an opinion, right. a solution to these issues we're facing, come on out. And he holds that with Michael Shirley, and who's the road board member out that way, and Caleb Tidwell, who's the school board member out that way, and folks love it and are blown away that they have that opportunity. But we have a lot of good folks who are serving in these local offices. You have to have a calling for it. You have to want to do it, because, as you know, especially on the local level, they ain't getting rich, and they ain't getting rich at all.
No. It's not. That's thank goodness that's not what it was designed to be.
Correct.
And now, how do people